How not to launch a YouTube channel in 3, 2, 1. Hey, I've recently been requested more than once to start a YouTube channel documenting snakes that I capture and release or rescue, or snakes that I find and I talk about. And so this video is the first of those. If you're looking at the date that this is published, it's in September, and that's actually when at least snakes in my area start becoming more scarce. We'll have some warm days when they come back out, but snakes from here on out are going to be less populated, less available, less out, I guess I should say. And so what this means for this channel is I'm going to have fewer videos during the fall, winter, and spring months. That was one of the things that when people have suggested that I do a YouTube channel for my snakes stuff, that I couldn't really think about. There's some YouTubers like Lou Boyer, I think that's how he pronounces his name. He flies to Asia quite often, and so he's flying into tropical climates that stay warm all year round, and is able to capture snakes. I think he also lives out in California, which stays warmer with the wind in the winter. I'm in South Carolina, so I just don't have. Even though we're pretty warm in the winter, they do go into hibernation, brumation. That's a debate, so we don't have to cover that in this first video. But so this is it. I'm already talking too long, but I just want you to know that I do have some previous videos that I will be uploading periodically. And then once we get into snake season, probably next year is when you'll see more active new videos. So right now we're about to cut to some still photos. So this photo right here is a photo that was posted to Facebook in my neighborhood that I was tagged in and was asked to come get it. And as soon as I saw this photo, you can see this orange stripe and those chevrons going down the back. This is a timber rattlesnake. Scientific name is Crotalus horridus, and I'm going to try to throw in the scientific names just so you get used to them, not because I think I'm hoity-toity and smarter than you, but because snakes, there are a lot of different common names, and sometimes the common names overlap. And so if you want to know exactly what snake I'm talking about, whether you're from America or from another country, the scientific name is always there to help you find it. So yeah, so this timber rattlesnake was in my neighbor's yard, came over, and got it in my bucket. I don't have a recording of that. A lot of times, it's not an emergency, but it's an urgency when I go get a snake, and I don't want to take up the time to set up a camera. And especially this was actually my first venomous bucket capture and then relocation. And I didn't want the camera to throw me off. I've read from not that I'm ever going to be free handling any snakes in my foreseeable future, because I think that's crazy. But there was a YouTuber who was free handling his king cobra who got bit because he was on camera, and he said that he was paying attention more to the audience, which is what I'm trying to do to you right now, instead of the snake. And he just didn't see the signs that the snake was getting restless, and next thing you know, he's getting bit by the king cobra. So that was kind of in the back of my mind. Hey, for my first venomous capture into a bucket, I don't want to have the idea of how is this stage for the audience. I just want to be focused 100% on the snake. Turns out the snake was super chill. It didn't want to get on the hook, so I may have to get 2 hooks, but I was able to. It didn't want to go in the bucket either. I laid the bucket over and tried to coax it into the bucket. It didn't want to go into the bucket. Eventually set the bucket up and kind of scooped it once, scooped it twice. It kept trying to go into a bush, but not very actively, and that was probably because it was only like 71 degrees, which is fairly cool for coastal South Carolina. So it wasn't moving that fast, wasn't aggressive. It's not a juvenile timber rattlesnake, but it was like a subadult rattlesnake, timber rattlesnake. And so it wasn't that big. So I was able to get it in the bucket, get the lid on safely. Homeowners were ecstatic because there's very few people who want a snake in their yard, especially if it's a timber rattlesnake. There we go. So then you will pick up on a video here in a little bit of me releasing that snake on the edge of some woods that are nearby our residence. I tried very hard to follow the quarter-mile rule. This was slightly outside the quarter-mile, but I believe he came from these woods. We have had some rain recently, and so I was putting him right back into his native habitat. And then I'll show you a picture shortly of him after he's released. When I went back and reviewed the video, because I wasn't thinking about doing this for anything other than my own personal enjoyment and review, I noticed my daughter, who was filming, could have gotten a little bit closer while I was releasing. She was probably a little afeared of the snake. And that's okay, but I also noticed she didn't scoot over, so she didn't even know the snake was actually leaving. I'm sitting there watching the snake crawl out of the bucket, and you're not going to be able to see that. And then once I realized that, the snake was still in view, so I grabbed the camera and just took a picture of it in the grass. So you're going to see that photo too. And then on the way back, because you couldn't just go straight to those woods, I had to drive a loop around to get to those woods and loop back. So on the way back, I was like, is that a snake out in the road? It wasn't there when we came this way. And when I first passed it, I was like, oh, that's another timber rattlesnake. And then when I looked at it from a distance, I was like, oh no, I think that's actually a cottonmouth. How did I mistake that for a timber rattlesnake? But then when I got back up on it, it was in fact a timber rattlesnake. So you'll see that just pulling it out of the road. Again, it's same area. I think the rain that was there the couple days probably pushed it up, and it's cooler that day, so out on the pavement to warm up, I'm sure. But you'll see, I say at the very end, be careful where you step, especially, the more I've gotten into snakes, even though I'm not scared of snakes, the more I'm aware of just where they can be unexpectedly. And so I'm probably looking for snakes not only because I want to see them, but because I know, like when I'm taking my garbage to the street, at night I've got a flashlight because you could have one just curled up, and that's how most bites happen, is when you step on them unaware. So we're already around 8 minutes into this video, and you haven't seen anything other than my face. So let's cut to the video of the release. All right, so I got a call from the neighbor. Actually, not a call, but a message on Facebook that they had a snake, and one look, I knew it was a timber rattler. So we got it from her house, and we'll be releasing it. We actually live just on the other side of these woods, so while there's no residences around here, we're still pretty decently close to where the snake was found. So this is a timber rattlesnake, still being a little shy. You can see the couple rattles. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe rattles. Looks healthy in size. See this? These used to be known as canebrake rattlesnakes, like different subspecies that they got put together with rattlesnakes, but these have this orangish brown line that goes down their back, and they have the chevron. So we're going to try to get them out of here. ahead. See how he's flattened out right now? He's a little defensive. See how his body is down here, over here, flattened out? I guess I was looking for an answer, but my filmer is not going to answer.
Yeah.
That's a defensive posture to make the snake look bigger, so they'll flatten out. So he's still kind of wanting to figure out. He thinks this bucket's safe, which it is. So we're just going to let him come out on its own. Here we go.
Does it make a rattle noise?
Yeah, actually, it's a very small rattle noise because the rattles are small. I don't want to get them too hyper, but he did rattle a little bit while I was getting them. Hear that?
Mm-hmm.
So just the very little rattles, but he'll go and eat some mice and rats and squirrels, and should have a nice, happy life out here in the woods. And here's that still photo that I took after it was released. So we just released the timber rattlesnake, and we're driving back, and here is a... Oh, this is another timber rattlesnake. So you can see it's got some rattles here. I'm going to help him off the side of the road. He must be hunting somewhere. Maybe all the water has pushed them out of their spots. I think the coolness probably makes them a little bit sluggish. We have a cooler day around 70, which is kind of cool for us. You don't ever step where you don't know where your feet are going. All right, well, thanks for tuning in for this first video on my new snake channel. Hope you enjoyed it. 2 timber rattlesnakes on the same day. And for me, these were my first ones to see in the wild. I have a friend who, let's say, is not as fond of snakes as I happen to be, and he has killed some timber rattlesnakes, and I can understand that because I used to be there. I used to be one who would kill the venomous ones and save the non-venomous ones, and over the past couple of years I've changed. But that aside, so I have seen a dead timber rattlesnake in a bucket before, but these were my first 2 to see in person, and I always afterwards feel like I should have spent a little bit more time looking at them, but I guess in the moment I'm concerned about the snake. I don't want to stress the snake or make the snake stressed out, I guess is the best word. So yeah, so I'm just trying to get them back to safety and out of harm's way. And if they're in the woods where humans aren't, then they're doing their job, and they're not going to come across humans to bite. So thanks, and hope you enjoyed it. And if you enjoy this kind of content, you can subscribe, because it's not going to be regular content until, like I said, until next fall. Next summer, and even then it's going to be somewhat irregular because it depends on when snakes are out. But I'm starting to get more calls from folks in both our neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods, so that will be good. So well, thanks, and peace out.